Well, good evening, and blessed be the name of our God and our King. Certainly, we salute you on this blessed Sunday evening, the 24th, I believe, of October. And we're going to take a few moments and share I guess this is our Sunday sermon recap. So I'm going to ask that you would take a moment and invite others to join in with us. And I'll give us about, I guess, a minute and a half or so that we can share it on our various social media outlets. And once those shares are done, I will get right into the Sunday sermon recap. It is, according to my phone here, about 8:43 p.m. Eastern time. And so by 8:44, 8:45, we will kick these lessons off. And it appears I am sharing it now on all of my little social media outlets. And then I know you all are famous, so put it on all your outlets. Put it everywhere that we are doing our Sunday sermon recap. Today's lesson, the Lord just met us in an unusual way once again. This whole series actually has just been overwhelming, and I believe that God has used this series to give voice to the voiceless and to give strength to the weak and encouragement to those who have been in great need of just a word of encouragement. If you agree, you can just holler back at me and just put some comments down saying, Brother Freeman, you are talking to me. Praise God. Elder, good to see you, sir. And God bless you, woman of God. Sister Jennings, and so many others that are jumping on. Good. We are joining in. We got several that are jumping in and joining in with us. That's excellent. Let me just pull up right here. There we go. Now, let me just say this before we get into our Sunday recap. Good evening, Sister Rumph. The Lord bless you as well. Good evening. God bless you, Sister Robinson, but I think I know you by another name. The Lord bless you. And let me just say this. I want to encourage you this week to really join in during our time of prayer. I'm getting ready to share our Sunday sermon recap, but I do want to encourage you to really lean in and join in during our prayer. You can either join our prayer line by texting TMPC for Life to 81411. TMPC for Life to 81411. It doesn't cost anything, nothing, and it's free. So it's free to you. Obviously, the church pays for it, but it's free to you. Just text TMPC for Life to 81411, and you can jump on our prayer line each morning at 7:45 a.m. Or if you're in the Columbia market, you can tune in to 97.9 FM at 7:45, 7:50 each morning and listen in on our devotion. Or you can always go to ColumbiaSPraise.com. ColumbiaSPraise.com. That's the website for our radio station, Columbia's Praise, WDEK 97.9 FM at 1170 AM. Your meeting place for the best in contemporary, traditional, and classic gospel music. Well, we've been in a series entitled Say It Out Loud. Say It Out Loud. And today we attempted to share a lesson out of the book of Exodus chapter 4. And really to lift up the story of Moses when he comes before God, or God reveals himself to Moses. And then this theophany, as they call it, a theophany, God says to Moses that I'm going to send you to be a voice and a liberator for my people. You're going to go to Pharaoh and you're going to tell him what I tell you to tell him. And Minister Ori, God bless you. Good to see you. And um, of course, Moses says, I've got a stammering tongue. I'm slow of speech. And I'm not eloquent of speech. And then God gives a little pushback there in that 4th chapter. We're in verses 10, 11, and 12 of Exodus chapter 4. He says, who made man's mouth? Who made the mute, the deaf, the seeing, and the blind? Did not I? Go anyway, Moses, and I will go with your mouth, and I will tell you what to say with your mouth. And I shared a lesson this morning entitled, Go With A Stutter. Say it with a stutter. Actually, is the proper title. Say it with a stutter. One of the things I thought was a bit of a vulnerable moment for me. Many may not know this, but probably do know it if you listen to me long enough. I was sharing that since my early elementary school days, actually all my life, I've had what was classified as a speech impediment. And so every time I read this Moses story, I do see kind of what his hesitation would have been, that life had put him to a place where he was not certain of his ability to articulate and give voice to his ideas, his thoughts, his desires. Yes, you say speak life, but how can I speak life if my speaker is not working, if my mouth is compromised, my ability to articulate is compromised in some way or another? How can I speak life and liberty for my people if I'm a stutterer? And as I shared that, one of the things I said was that it was in seminary that I learned that my challenge was actually not so alien for a child of God. Children of God do not go without challenges. And I remember in seminary, one of the things I learned is that anytime God is saying something that he really wants to make as a point, he will say it multiple times. Rejoice in the Lord, I say, and again, I say, rejoice. Over and over again, you will hear God. That's the pattern in scripture. If God says it multiple times, then each time he's saying it, it lets you know the significance of the statement. And what happens when one stutters or one gets stuck on forming certain words like I do? You say that same thing over and over again. And so one of the things I remember it clicking for me in seminary, I said, my goodness, theologically, God is a stutterer. He has a way of saying the same thing over and over again. And here's the thing. While we might mock Brother Freeman for stuttering, and someone might say, why are you saying it over and over again? You got to understand what it does to the enemy. See, when the enemy hears it, rejoice in the Lord, and then it comes right back again and says, and again I say rejoice. Then we say, oh, no, don't say it again. That's a part of the reason he attacks us when we have a stutter or a stammer, because the last thing he wants you to do is do what God does. Say it again. It's called confirmation. So I said, theologically, God was a stutterer, is a stutterer. He has a way of saying the same thing over and over again to make his point. I'm in good company. Let me tell you something. Stuttering is not just what happens when you have an issue with respect to forming words with your mouth, but life can be a stutter for you. A stutter, a stammer, or a stumble. You might not stutter with your words, but you might have a stutter in your life of some sort, where all of a sudden you're repeating something. I gave as an example, you went to school, you finished your sophomore year, dropped out, didn't have enough money, or whatever else happened. That's a stutter. That's a stumble. And by the time you got to the point where you could go back, they said, listen, we understand that you did your sophomore year, but those credits don't count anymore. You got to do it all over again. That's a stutter or a stammer. No one is exempt from those seasons when you got a stutter or a stammer. When you might have a stumble along the way. I was sharing that I was conversing with my friend, Dr. Edmund Dr. Edmund Coakley from the Trinity Baptist Church, Casey. And every week we spend time together talking and conversing and walking through accountability and prayer. And I was sharing with him my speech impediment. And he talked about, man, you have a remarkable, vocabulary. And we know that's debatable in and of itself. But I said to him, I said, Doctor, if I do have any measure of a vocabulary, it is a direct result of this impediment. That literally what my brain did was I figured if I can't say the word, instead of going through the embarrassment of trying to say the word and form the word, I just had to develop another way to communicate. And so that required me to expand my vocabulary and my phrasing so that I really was just avoiding a word. And by avoiding this impediment, I actually built a muscle that made me a stronger communicator. Isn't that just like God? God will use the foolish things to confound the wise. And that's what he was doing with Moses. Why would you send a stutterer to go preach to Pharaoh, let my people go? He did it because God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. In fact, there's strength in your stutter. That was one of my main points today. There's strength in your stuttering. Got a stutter in your life, a struggle in your life. There's strength in your stutter. And the same God that got you here will get you there. So if you got to repeat it, in fact, one of the things I said today in service, I said, the last thing the enemy wants you to do is to repeat what it is you're declaring for your life. He does not want you to say it again. That's why he will often attack your stutter. But the attack and the mocking of the stutter is really his fear of the statement. He does not want you to say, I'm above and not beneath. I'm above and not beneath. I'm above and not beneath. He doesn't want you to say, I'm the head and not the tail. The head and not the tail. I'm the lender and not the borrower. No. So he attacks you in your place of struggle because he knows that the only way I can stop the statement is I got to attack the struggle. Are you hearing me? And yet I called that devil the liar that he is and said, you just open your mouth and say it with a stutter anyway. I never seen the righteous forsaken, nor their seed begging bread. I'm more than a conqueror. I'm more than a conqueror. I'm more. Say it and say it and say it and say it. Say it with a stutter, but make sure you say it. Now, here's the other piece, and then I'll stop. I'm at about 13, 14 minutes. Here's the last little piece I want to share. I want to show you the mercy of God. Moses had a stutter, said, I can't go, God, because I got a stutter. God said, who made your mouth? In other words, who made man's mouth? Who made you who made the mute? Who made the blind? Who made the seeing? Who is it that made the deaf? Is it not I? He says, listen, I will go with you, but you got to go. I will be your mouth. I will tell you what to say, but you got to go. Here's the mercy of God. Notice God never fixes Moses' mouth physically. He just says, if you're willing to go, I'll hit a straight lick with this cricket stick. I'm a living witness that God, as Johnny Ray Youngblood used to say, can hit a straight lick with a cricket stick. And then I'll show you his mercy again and how God moves. Moses pushes back. God is not, I can't, not me. Find somebody else, please. Don't send me. I can't even get my words out right. Yeah, and I did make this observation. The Moses that's not eloquent of speech here could speak perfectly fine. In fact, it said he was eloquent of speech before when he was in Pharaoh's house. Something happened that took his voice. And often when things happen to us, we go, I'm not qualified anymore. But let me tell you something. There is no crisis. There's no broken place. There is no affliction that hits you that God cannot work out and work through you. Are you hearing me? It's not that affliction is not so overwhelming. That failure is not so final that God can't still use you. And you might still have a limp or a lisp or a stammer or a stutter, but God can still use you. And I like that because that lets me know that I don't have to be perfect for God to use me. He said, go, Moses, with your stammer. Didn't fix his mouth. Moses pushes back. God gets angry. And the Bible literally says in Exodus chapter 4, somewhere, I believe that's around the 11th verse, to 14th verse. And so he gets angry. But look at how loving God is, even in a moment of being provoked. He says, your brother Aaron, the Hebrew, is coming. You take him with you. And I will tell you what to say, and you will tell him what to say, and he will say it for you to Pharaoh. Your voice will be like God to him, and my voice will be God to you. Now, look at what God just did. And the devil is having a nervous breakdown right along in here, because what God said is, Moses, whatever your struggle is, even if you need an Aaron, you still got to go. Notice, God does not send Aaron in the place of Moses. And let me tell you something. No one can do for you what God called you to do. He'll send you help, but you still got to do it. Thank God for Aaron's, but you still got to do it. Now, let me show you where the devil really has a nervous breakdown. Now, Moses is still going with a stutter. Beforehand, it was just going to be Moses and God. God said it, Moses said it. But now we got Moses, we got God, Moses, and Aaron. God says it to Moses. Moses says it to Aaron. God says it. Moses says it. Aaron says it. God says it to Moses. Moses says it to Aaron. Aaron says it to Pharaoh. And here it is. Notice what begins to happen. Because we got a God who is a stutterer theologically. He's using an emancipator who's a stutterer. And notice what he says. God, you following that? Moses, Aaron. Let my people go. Let my people go. Let my people go. Or like this. Here goes God. Let Moses. Let Aaron. Let my people go. Go, 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 go. Let my people. Let my people. Are you seeing where we're going with this? Here it is. Go. And let me tell you something. Even if God has to send a helper, you go anyway with a stutter. In fact, sometimes the best thing you can have is a repeat in your spirit. Let my people go. Get your hands off my child, off my child. My finances, my money is blessed. My mind is blessed. You say it with a stutter. I close with this final thing. I was taught in public speaking, and you know, as I shared earlier, that from early on, I was diagnosed with a speech impediment. They worked with me for years and still haven't quite fixed me, but that's okay. But I was taught in public speaking that you tell them what you're going to say, then you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. So you tell them what you're going to tell them, you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. Now, I don't consider myself a braggart unless we're bragging on the Lord. You know, scripture says, my soul shall make her boast in the Lord, and the humble shall hear thereof and be glad. But outside of that, up to this point, I don't believe I've had a pattern of being a braggart. But I will say that if we follow the principle of public speaking, tell them what you're going to tell them, tell them, and then tell them what you told them. That sounds like a stutter. But by the time you tell them what you told them, you're really at the point where you're saying, I told you that I was going to have the victory in my life. So you tell them, I'm getting ready to tell you I'm going to have the victory. Then you tell them, I'm going to have the victory. Then you tell them what you told them. I told you I'm going to have the victory. In fact, here it is. Sometimes your impediment, if you let God use you, will give you a testimony that by the time you get to the end of the story, you'll be able to say, I told you so. Didn't I tell you that God said, let my people go? I told you so. And I believe prophetically that by the end of this year, every person under the sound of my voice, you're going to have a testimony that says, I told you so. Your impediment, your stutter, your stumble, your struggle, God can use it. In fact, God will multiply what he has for you. The best thing you could have happen, Moses, is that your tongue is on repeat. Because the things of God are confirmed because God says it over and over again. Let my people go. Let my family free. Let my mind and allow my mind to be whole. Say it with the stutter. Afraid, imperfect, but go anyway and say it with the stutter. All right, I'll stop there. It's been 20 minutes. And if I go any longer, I'll just preach the whole sermon again. You might as well just go pull up the video. But that's our Sunday sermon recap for Sunday, October the 24th. This was part 4 of our series, Say It Out Loud, Say It With A Stutter. If you got a stutter, a stumble, a stammer, go ahead anyway and say what God tells you to say. And if you need help, God's going to give you that third leg. Moses, here it is, God, Moses, and Aaron. And the more you say it, you keep saying it until you see it. Well, I'm Brother Freeman from the Meeting Place Church of Greater Columbia. I'll meet you all tomorrow morning on the prayer wall. You can listen to us also at 7:45, 7:50 in the morning on our radio station, WDEK 97.9 FM, 11:70 a.m. Or you can find us at columbiaspraise.com. And of course, you can always call in to our teleconference line. Until then,